Jane Eskind is one of the most talented people in this state and one of the toughest negotiators I've ever seen.
She's done a superb job fighting for consumers as chairman of the State Public Service Commission.
She's always out front on critical issues, fighting for better schools and against putting a nuclear waste plant in Tennessee.
She's done it all while raising a wonderful family, and I think she may turn out to be the best governor we'll ever have. Fact is, Tennessee'd be lucky to get her.
Eskind, simply because she's the best person for the job. As Speaker of the House, Ned Ray McWhirter helped Nissan get $30 million in benefits. Then Nissan gave a sweetheart deal to a company controlled by McWhirter and his friends. The McWhirter company drives Nissan trucks 400 yards off the assembly line and just parks them there, 400 yards. McWhirter invested almost nothing but got $75,000. Do we want a governor who combines public office and private profit? Jane Eskind, her only special interest is the people of Tennessee. Eskind. The opposition has attacked Jane Eskind for being wealthy. Actually, they don't have anything else to say because she's the only candidate with statewide experience, who doesn't take special interest money and who stands up for the Better Schools program. Franklin Roosevelt was attacked for being wealthy, and so was John Kennedy. But America and Tennessee were better off because they won. Jane Eskind, like them, she doesn't have to answer to any special interest, and she fights for people because it's in her heart.
What time do y'all get started around here?
7 a.m. in the morning.
They work hard for every dollar. They're the strength of Tennessee. And I believe in a government that fights for people like them. When you make decisions in the governor's office, you can't just talk to the big boys. You have to remember the folks down here.
In 1986, her fight for people goes on.
She went down the line with us. She really does care about it.
They put their lives on the line for us every day. They never know what's coming at them around the next corner.
It takes us 2 years to arrest them, get them tried, put them in jail, and now the state wants to turn them loose early.
I'm fighting against that. Criminals shouldn't be out of prison just because the prisons are out of room.
257, Emory Road at Clinton Highway.
In 1986, Jane Eskind's fight for people goes on. For Tennessee, for Governor Eskind.
You be careful, guys.
someone in Washington decided to bring the nation's nuclear waste to Tennessee and store it here. When the governor, the leaders of the legislature, and most mayors wouldn't speak out, Jane Eskind did. Some of them said it wouldn't hurt us. Jane Eskind said, "You're not going to turn Tennessee into a nuclear dumping ground. We're going to stop it." In 1986, Jane Eskind's fight for people goes on.
Most of us have just suffered through a mayor's race scarred by negative campaigning. We've learned it doesn't work. So in this special election for Congress, I challenge every candidate to run on the issues. We need a congressman who will fight to strengthen our schools, to clean up toxic waste, to stop the war in Central America. So let's focus on our best hopes, not the worst things we can say about each other.
Jane Eskind, different from the rest, a difference we can count on.
In the next few weeks, we'll be electing a new congressman, and I think you're entitled to know where we stand on the issues. I'll be raising tough questions, not about other candidates, but about your concerns. For example, instead of just talking about drugs, how do we really get them out of our schools? We've had enough of the old politics. I'm running not to oppose and tear others down, but to propose and fight for real solutions.
Jane Eskind, different from the rest, a difference we can count on.
I've run before, I've won and lost, and sometimes it hurts. But there are things I care deeply about. Issues like better schools for our kids, cleaning up the environment, consumer rights and civil rights. This is a good place to live. We've had a lot of economic growth, and now we have to prepare for the next generation. I came into politics because I share John Kennedy's belief that if you're fortunate, you have an obligation to give something back.
Jane Eskind, different from the rest. For Jane Eskind, public service isn't a personal ambition, but a chance to make a difference for us on the issues the professional politicians won't take on. On the Public Service Commission, she created lifeline telephone rates so the elderly and those on limited incomes wouldn't lose their phones. She opposed utility rate increases, and she was a leader in the fight to stop Tennessee from becoming the nation's nuclear waste dumping ground. She said it's wrong for us, and it's wrong for our kids. Jane Eskind, different from the rest, a difference we can count on.
I saw Jane on the Public Service Commission. I've never seen anyone so effective at setting goals and getting things done.
She's much more than a politician. She really listens to people, and she always tries to do what's right.
When the politicians were all ducking the issue, Jane Eskind stood up and took on the fight to keep nuclear waste out of Tennessee. I'd like to have someone like that in Congress.
Jane's good on the big issues, but she never forgets the little things that are important to people. She fought for lower rates for elderly people like my mother, so they wouldn't lose their phones.
I've worked on all of Jane's campaigns, and she hasn't always won, but she's never stopped fighting for what she believes in. And that takes a lot of guts.
People like her can be independent. They don't even have to think about special interests.
I know when she go to Washington, she will not forget her sheep.
Jane Eskind, different from the rest, a difference we can count on.
Some people wonder why she's doing this, but if you'd seen her on the Public Service Commission, you'd know what Jane Eskind's all about. She really does believe in doing things for people.
She's much more than a politician. She really listens to people, and she always tries to do what's right.
I know Jane Eskind. She really cares about people, and I want her in Congress fighting for all of us.
One thing I know, when she's in Washington, she won't forget us.
Jane Eskind, different from the rest, a difference we can count on.
She doesn't have to do this. She sure doesn't need the job, and I like the way she keeps fighting for things she believes in.
Jane's good on the big issues, but she never forgets the little things that are important to people. She fought for lower rates for elderly people like my mother, so they wouldn't lose their phones.
I saw Jane on the Public Service Commission. I've never seen anyone so effective at setting a goal and getting things done.
Jane Eskind, different from the rest, a difference we can count on.